When you are fortunate enough to get a great teacher who can really communicate, you'd like to learn as much as possible from him. Richard Shrake is that teacher. Because of his willingness to share his extensive knowledge and humane Christian training techniques, he is in demand and a much sought-after horseman. The resistance-free training and riding methods have become his trademark in the horse world. His instructional techniques are based on total communication between horse and rider, whether mounted or in-ground work, and are a benefit to everyone who has a horse, no matter what skill level or age. Everyone who watches and uses this method will benefit, as will their horse. Richard Shrake is an internationally known and highly regarded judge, lecturer, instructor, and trainer from Sun River, Oregon. His credentials are extensive in the horse world. He has judged 9 different national and world championship shows for 5 different breeds. His students have won over 40 top 10 or world championships. Horses that he has trained or shown have won world or national titles in Western pleasure, trail, working cow horse, and reining. He has written a book entitled Horsemanship for the Western Horseman magazine that is currently a bestseller and has been translated into other languages. He is constantly sought after to give demonstrations and lectures around the world. We are proud to offer you Richard Shrake's extensive knowledge through a Winning Ways video series. Now, sit back and enjoy Resistance-Free Riding Part 2.
I want to welcome you to our Resistance-Free Riding Part 2 video. You know, I want to just say thank you for turning on your TV set and putting that video in, because it's really because of horsemen like yourselves out there taking the time, wanting to become better riders, wanting to become better horsemen, that actually Resistance-Free Riding Part 1 is the #1 current leading video in the world on riding. It was watched by over 640,000 people in the last 2 years, and we're just very excited about our Resistance-Free Riding Part 2. And you know, to do these films, it takes world-class people, and I want to take the time right now to say, hey, Brenda, thank you for coming, and Deanne for taking your time and sharing and coming over here with us today. My son, Justin, I know he got out of school, but he's here with us, and thanks, Just, for coming. My daughter, Jill, thank you again. And Sherry, I just want to thank all of you, because without you, this isn't possible. You know, one of the things I want to do before we go on and go out and saddle up is let's do a little review on what we're going to be talking about, so that you can kind of look into this video and really understand what you should be learning, and you can start to get ready to pick it up with this review and overview. So let's take the time right now and go over that. After watching Resistance-Free Riding #1, we found out just how important our eyes are in keeping our body, you know, truly relaxed. We found that the eyes are actually a lot like a computer, and they give the messages into the body, which keep our hands quiet and our legs quiet. Being able to look in the direction we're going, keeping ourselves balanced, is an extremely important thing. Breathing correctly with the rhythm and timing, boy, that's not only relaxing, but it just helps that harmony on the horse. One of the things that we found in Resistance-Free Riding 1 is that we've got to consciously really make yourself breathe. The ripple effect, we found out, was taking that energy from the horse. The second we got stiff, it stopped it. The second we started to relax and move with the horse and let that energy ripple up through their body, it was easy. Correct leg position, being able to breathe with those legs and use the legs to not only control and feel the horse, but as long as they're in the right position, gosh, it just makes riding very easy. As we see here, just a very balanced rider. That hand is the communication right down to the horse's mouth. We hold those hands wrong, move them too quick, we don't have the feel on this horse, and it's probably the one direct line we have right down there to that horse's mouth that, even though that bit's a small part, like a rudder on a ship. If those hands don't control and soften and have that feel, it makes our ride really start to get stiff. That body position, you know, we've got to be centered, we've got to be balanced, we've got to be totally wrapped down around our horse, riding off both sides, being able to coordinate those hands and legs, you know, to do the job that we need. The old days of sitting up with our back flat, shoulders square, just don't really do it anymore. Here we see how the rhythm and the energy, and right now we see the rider just going over some poles, and we see that energy flow right up from the horse's leg, right directly into the rider's body. When we tie into that rhythm, we've got a powerful ride ahead of us. That's a quick review of Resistance-Free Riding 1. Now let's just sit back and let's get ready for Resistance-Free Riding Part 2. This is what's ahead. Those exercises you're going to find are the meat of the whole thing. They not only develop the muscles and the coordination, but they just give this rider the chance to truly go ahead and achieve and set up a program to where they just get the maximum out of their riding. Whether you're a world-class rider, a novice, whatever level you're at here, you're going to find that these exercises are going to be the real meat and potatoes of your program. Being able to work over poles, obstacles, again, just help really refine that feel. You're going to see not only the rider set up different obstacles here, working from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 poles, but you're just going to see how this will maximize, you know, your riding efforts here in Part 2. Boy, the leg and hand position here in Part 2 are just critical for the lead changes, turnarounds, and what have you. You're going to find out just how to really develop that real feel through those hands and the legs, upper body position, that communication on these real special, difficult areas is where the refinement is going to be fun to watch here in Resistance-Free Riding Part 2. You know, if you've had a little bit of problem with your rhythm and your feel on your horse, get ready, because right here you're going to develop that to such a refinement that not only you and your horse are going to start moving together immediately, but just by practicing and working on some of the things that we've done here, things like lead changes are going to be smoother and easier because you're going to be in the proper position. You know, whether you're riding English or Western, you've just got to have that harmony with your horse. When that unity starts flowing together, that's when good things really start to happen. You've got to have position and communication. Turnarounds are easy. You can do this with feel if you're sitting correctly, using your hands and legs again. Even in our English riding, in our haunch turns, that correct use of the legs just opens so many doors for us, and that's what we're going to be working on. Stops when it's wrong. Not only does that horse get stiff, you might, really be experiencing that right now. We're going to go over and over that hand and leg position, make those stops smooth and balanced, develop a quiet rider out of you. Part 1, without question, just showed us how important that it is for us to be prepared mentally, to have our attitude right, to have us just being able to focus on how our horse is working and how we and our horse are working together. In this Resistance-Free Riding 2, let me tell you what, get ready for some in-depth approach to this. You're going to just see how important that attitude and mental preparation really is, and your confidence as a rider is just going to really start to boom. Okay, let's get started now. Let's start out with our exercises. You know, that's the real major program of developing those muscles properly. Here's old Justin. Just watch his arms. This is for the 13 and under crowd here. See how those arms, he just gets the feel and he swings them with the walk of the horse. Of course, the walk is just a 4-beat gait. He's able to feel that energy in his upper body, swing his arms, left, right, This not only helps his concentration, but, here we see old Jill. It's kind of fun for her to work with him. Now he picks up the 2-beat gait, and in fact, this is an exercise old Justin put together. It's one I've never used before, but while we were preparing for this film, what he's doing here is just letting his upper body, his arms move in time with that 2-beat gait. Sherry just gives us the next level here. The sitting trot, the wrap of the legs. She's letting her seat really develop an independent movement and a real foundation feel here. Her legs are wrapped good. She's got her feet in her stirrups. Just moving the hands here. You'll notice they were folded in front. Now she's got them behind. The 2-beat sitting trot just makes it very easy. Right here, you'll notice also that as her hands move, one of the things that make exercises so powerful is it gives us a great chance to really work on our equilibrium. Now, we just can't do that just by plain old riding. You notice now her hands go from behind her back up to behind her neck, still staying at the jog. So the movement of the hand position from in front to behind the neck, staying at that gait, just make this nice exercises to do. Still keeps her feet in the stirrups. Now she picks up a posting trot, works on those eyes. Remember, those eyes are what keep us really relaxed. And again, lets the mare just trot naturally. She's not into her mouth. She's not asking for any kind of an extension, just a soft, easy trot. Staying at the post, still puts the hands up behind her back, and again, that equilibrium really gets worked on. Staying centered, still using the eyes to the left, looking to the right, looking straight up. You just can't do these too many times. You'll notice also Deanne here just gives Sherry a lot of confidence. She keeps this mare at a steady gait. She doesn't try to cause her any real problems right here. Even though Sherry does have her stirrups, and she's staying at a steady gait, we're trying to build confidence here. We're not trying to dump this rider off or anything. Now you'll notice with her arms straight out in front of her, just like she did there, it just brought that center of gravity even to a little different point. One of the things that helps smooth out transitions is to work on them without using your hands. You'll notice there Sherry picked up that canter from a walk. She had to just use her legs, had no feel of the horse's mouth. She was very independent there in her seat and her legs. Picks up the 3-beat to the lope, and again she goes through holding her hands behind her, and then she'll go ahead and she'll change them and put them behind her neck and go through actually the same positions that she did from the walk to the trot to the posting trot, and then now into the canter. Keeping those eyes up, looking in the direction she's going, develops that muscle memory throughout her whole body that just helps her on with other lead changes or spins, as you'll see later. Here's Jill. Now look at, no stirrups. She's even taking it up one more level. This is what we call that scissor exercise. Here you see her go off rhythm, and then all of a sudden she'll come back in rhythm here in a few minutes. There she goes. Not only does this teach the body to really, and this is hard to do, as you can well see, to really draw that rhythm into the rhythm of the energy of the horse, but as you see here in slow motion, she just takes the full extent of that. That energy comes right up through her seat bones. She doesn't have her feet in the stirrups, and so her whole body takes that ripple and absorption of energy. Actually, I just like to say she grabs it, throws it away, grabs the energy, throws it away. And you'll notice that she's in perfect time with the first and third beat of the lope. You can see here that cross just gives a perfect example of how that energy comes from that seat bone right up through her shoulders, and actually just goes right on out her fingers. We'll let her pick up her stirrups here a little bit. I see what kind of happened here when she just got too soft. Not only did the horse lose his power, but again, now that she's going back to her rhythm, This rhythm now then is transferred down into the legs, and it's a squeeze release with the same rhythm of her upper body. We've got to develop the upper body rhythm though before we can really start to get that feel down into the legs. Don't make yourself just go out without stirrups all the time and get yourself tired. That's not what we're trying to prove. We're trying to create harmony, unity, and feel. So just let those heels stay soft, absorb a lot of that energy. Do these exercises now until you get a comfortable feel, a real warm-up. But don't go out here and just go and go and go until you absolutely collapse or just feel like you can't do any more. I can't say enough about this scissor exercise because it does draw that energy. It pulls it right up into your body, creates better muscle memory than any of the other exercises we can do. Now see her get soft here. Now she goes off rhythm, and then all of a sudden you'll notice here in a second she'll come back into rhythm. No greater way in the world to develop that muscle memory. Now here we see Deanne. She's even gone up to one more level here. It's bareback. First and third beat gait. Back and forth with the rhythm of the upper body. Sherry's still staying quiet. She's trying to give her confidence, not trying to get her bucked off. A real quick move of this horse right here with her going bareback not only could cause her to fall off, but, could get her hurt. That old Brenda, this bareback, you remember her from doing the exercises on Resistance-Free Riding 1. Look how easy that is with her legs wrapped, softness in her leg, and a feel in the leg rhythm. Now you see, you'll notice that leg rhythm is the exact same timing as the upper hand rhythm. Those circles, as she speeds up, or makes bigger, or gets stronger, or gets smaller as we see here. Of course, she's doing the off rhythm, then she goes back to rhythm too. And again, no greater way to, really develop that muscle memory here. Notice that when Brenda got off rhythm there, the great thing about these videos is to go back and, replay them. How tight her jaw got, how stiff her shoulders got. One thing I'd like to share with you here is not just doing the exercises, but let's do some other things, like let's just set up some poles. Here we see Sherry just trotting over one pole. The extra drive, the extra push in the horse's gait as he goes over him, and I think more than anything it kind of gives him something to do. Lets him sit. Now she's just going to go ahead and posting trot over both poles. And again, the 2-beat gait as he trots over sends more energy right from that foot right up through her body. 3 poles are easy. I really strongly recommend that you start with 1 pole and then go to 2 and then go to 3. It's a stair-step way of getting yourself to get a real soft feel on this horse. Now we're seeing just do a sitting trot. The mare has to look, she has to see where she's going, posts on away from it. Let's do that in slow motion. We see this 2-beat gait. Sherry's hands are solid. She's got her stirrups. She's not posting it, so she's taking the full ripple effect. Breathing, using her eyes, staying in harmony. As this mare goes through the 4 poles now, not only does that extra action create more energy up through her body, but it just gives her that extra little drill to just give her that extra feel that she's going to need on her horse in some spots here later on as we get into our lead changes, spins, and stops. Nice job, Sherry. She's such a pretty rider to watch. I always enjoy working. In fact, I've enjoyed working with all these riders as we've worked with them here. Let your horse sit a lot. Let him wait. Now let's just let her go back in regular motion. Still sitting trot. That ripple effect you can just see right there. Thanks, Sherry. That was a very nice job. That hand position is so important. We see here, anytime that wrist cocks, that not only stops and kind of hinders the tendons that go down through your wrist over your fingers. So we've got to let that hand just fall in a straight line. We've got to be able to take up on our reins. Again, it's got to be giving, it's got to be soft and, forgiving. And remember, you just can't do what we call a stiffness in the wrist or a puppy dog look there, right there with the hand, or hold it up here. It's got to have a real natural line down. And you can see here is even as Brenda really turns that wrist or raises it too high, not only is the hand that we're holding here important, but we also get into that elbow and that shoulder position. Anytime that elbow gets way out or starts to get stiff, it really hinders the upper body, throws the weight off to one side. So, the hand is kind of like a rudder here on a ship. It may be a small part of the overall look, but boy, that's right, the part that guides everything. Here we can see Sherry with her hands just too fast and way too much pull. Just causes this mare to go out of position. That extra jam and extra pull that she's putting on her just doesn't give her the clean feel finesse like we see here, that when she drops her hands down and just asks the horse softly to move her shoulder around there in kind of a haunch turn. One of the things we covered in the earlier video on the hands was trying to get them slow and soft. Now here you even see when they're too low and too jerky. Look what it does to this mare's face. Look at all of her motion into her front end. Same token, hey, look what happens when they get too high and bounce around. Not only throws this poor old mare's head out of position, but these are videos. I kind of hate to do this to these poor horses. Let's give her a little pat here. But think of, there's a lot of riders that ride like this day in and day out, and then they wonder why their horse doesn't stay soft and, want to work with them. Let's have Sherry just do that again. Now watch her hands this time. Not only do they just take a hold of this mare's face softly and smoothly, she used her body weight. That was very pretty. Play that over and over and over. That last portion right there, if you want to develop better hands. In Resistance-Free Riding 1, we talked a lot about upper body rotation. Now let's just have Brenda just walk. Remember we talked about carrying that bag of Purina. Hey, look at right here. She just holds the hands even with her upper body, keeps those seat bones down into the saddle to where they're even, and as the upper body rotates and turns, so does her horse. So that body now, as you'll notice, as she comes back around, the upper body will rotate into the other direction, as you can see right here, and then her horse turns. You talk about harmony and unity and smoothness, not only in changes directions, but boy, when we get into leads, look at her eyes here. She's looking at the direction she's going, keeps the rest of her body soft. Her and the horse just stay very soft and easily together. Legs are the foundation. As you can see here, Sherry's got that leg directly underneath her hips, underneath her shoulders, just like she's standing on the ground. She can squeeze with the lower leg, releases the opposite leg as she's just doing kind of a simple haunch turn here. It's a press release. It's not just a real push with the heel. Without the release of the opposite leg, when you're moving the horse's hip, it just makes the move something to where it's really hard for that horse to understand. I like to see that leg wrap. I like to see that leg in a position to where it can give the same consistent communication. Now Brenda's really overdoing this. Now this is just a simple rhythmic use of a press and release at the walk. Now I know that she's really overdoing it, but we had her do this, and this is what's great about a video. You can just watch the rhythm here, watch the horse's legs. It's a press release as the horse picks the foot up off the ground, and
Even though she's overdoing it, even at the walk here, the 4-beat gait, her legs just give us an excellent example. Let's pick up a jog here, Brenda. You know, this is the one we can really work on, this particular one. Here is press release, the 2-beat gait. Notice as she comes to us. Not only does this help the horse as far as impulsion is concerned, but it helps keep his back up, helps keep a state of collection about him. You'll see Brenda's leg, of course, ride a lot quieter later on here when we go into using her leg as far as rhythm with the horse later on. Now here at a lope, this is great because we're going to have her just do a slow motion right about here. And as she comes straight toward us, watch her pick up the 1st and the 3rd beat. As the 1st beat pushes off, it's a squeeze and then a release as the horse falls into that 3rd beat there into the front left leg. Perfect timing. And again, even though it's overdone here, this is what really helps us draw that energy rather than just sit there like a package or a sack sitting on the horse's back. That lower leg has to be able to breathe. That lower leg has to be able to be part of the horse. And again, gather that energy and let it go, as we just saw right there. We can take that rhythm and put it into our circles. And we see right here Brenda with a little stronger rhythm in her legs. Not only does this horse extend his trot, but he just picks up a little more impulsion to his gait. Now she's going to soften, ride back, sit a lot quieter. In fact, too quiet. She lost that whole forward motion, that energy. So she picks it back up there in her leg, then sits quiet, keeps that hand very quiet, keeps breathing, keep the eyes up. And you'll notice then how there's just perfect unity between her and her horse. Now see the change right there? Gets a little stronger with the rhythm, stronger with the energy in the seat bones, and again the horse responds to that. And I'll tell you what, it takes a darn good judge just to see that little slight body movement that Brenda can use there. Nice job. Watch Sherry now here on the rail. Notice that as she lopes down, she goes to stop. She stops a little quick. She takes a hold of this mare and pushes her into kind of a side pass with a real quick leg. Now here's where you can really see for every action what the reaction is going to be. Well, that quick move and that quick side pass just created a fast lope. Again, takes a hold of her very quickly, backs her up very quickly. Now look what we've just developed here. Watch this canter departure here. Now you see, our action just caused a reaction of a real speedy kind of a gallop off here. And again, takes a hold of her. She's a little long on her rein, behind her motion. Uses a real quick leg on her, just drives her over, doesn't really give her time to kind of think or settle down. And again, our reaction is a drive off. Mare wants to get into her front end a little bit, go a little faster. Let's see what some soft, slow, easy body rhythms will create here. Okay, let's just take our time, back her off slow, relax our leg, heck, reach back, pet her a little bit on the hip, slow everything down. Notice that transition there, how soft and easy it was. Now, look what we've developed here. Watch this stop. Watch how level and easy it is. See how easy and relaxed your top line is. Isn't that pretty? That's what we want. That's the number 10. That's what we look for. Let her catch her breath. Keep your body and your rhythm quiet. You go to ask her to do a simple side pass. Use your leg in a way that she can understand it and accepts it. So then when we get ready for our transition or our canter departure, she gathers, goes off, stays in real soft. And actually, the slower we do that, the slower that canter is going to be. got to be in the right position to have those flying lead changes. If that rider's not giving this horse the correct signals, or his body position is actually hindering him, you can really create a lot of resistance and a lot of troubles. Let's go back. Sherry, we're going to have you get off here. Okay. This is so simple to do. You can do this while you're, watching this video. Go grab your mom or your husband or whoever. Notice here when I put the weight in her right shoulder, as she picked up the left lead, it was easy. Now as I put the weight in her left shoulder, her right lead, if she was a horse, would be so easy. This is so easy to do. I challenge you right now. Get up and try this with somebody. Okay? And when we change leads, when that front leg hits the ground, we switch to the other stirrup, or the person in back. For example, there I'm putting imaginary weight in the left stirrup. See how easy that right lead is? Okay, now we put weight in the left stirrup when we get ready to change and that front end hits the ground. Now the weight goes into the left stirrup. She just switches over to that right lead. The weight into the right stirrup, and see how easy it is for her to switch to the left lead. But now we try to change her back to the right, and we keep our weight in that right stirrup, and look what happened. Okay, I'm just going to have Sherry pick up an easy trot here, and it might be a little easier for you. I know we're not going to be doing any flying changes, but at the trot it just gives us a little more chance for us to watch her here. So when she throws that weight to the inside, so many of us think that we've got to, kind of flop this horse into his leads. It's the worst thing you can do. Not only do they drop your shoulder, but look at the resistance you're causing here. And even if we're not doing change leads, it's really important to ride through, stay centered. You'll notice just a touch of weight into that outside arc. The horse trots through even now. Let's just have her do that once more. Comes around. You'll notice how her body stays so centered, so smooth. In fact, this slow motion really gives us a chance to see how the right hand keeps the right shoulder up. She rides through. The weight stays just a little bit into the left stirrup in the change of directions. This lets that mare's hip start to be positioned, keeps her head steady, and gives us a faultless change of directions there. I like to, practice the lead change position at the trot, even though we're not actually doing a lead change at the trot, because it just gives that rider that extra two-beat, that extra energy, the extra feel there. And, as we can see right here, as Sherry posts on around, it just slows things down, makes it a little easier. Again, see how nice that was when she went a little bit to that outside stirrup, still kept the left hand up. Let's watch Brenda. Right there, he dropped a hind lead just because she did lean in that direction. Boy, go back in this video. That's what that rewind button's for. Watch that. When you see a horse drop a hind lead like that, go through and watch her position. It'll tell you why he did. Now she gets his shoulder over, puts the weight in the left stirrup, releases that right leg, and the change is just faultless, and it goes through. Let's have her come around one more time. I hate to do a lot of lead changes out of a figure eight or out of a circle here, but let's just try it. Bring his shoulder over, release the left leg that time, and the weight to the right stirrup, and you had a very nice change. I'm going to have her do one here in slow motion. Boy, the power of a video, how great this is. Now right here, look at the rhythm in Brenda's body and the feel. Brings his shoulder over just a little bit with the hand. And that also gives us a little bit of collection as she moves it to her left. And as his shoulders start to straighten out, her weight goes into her left stirrup. And you'll see right about here, we'll release with that right leg, and the horse will make the lead change. Just that easy, just that smooth. No pop of the tail, no throwing of the head. Just a carried, smooth, easy, soft motion all the way through that. Okay, let's have her do her here one more time at regular speed. No chance for those dropped hind leads. Bring your shoulder over, right stirrup, release with the left leg, and a change. Makes it look easy, doesn't it? Brenda, that's a That's a great job. Okay, Sherry, even though she's riding English, same thing. Left hand up a little bit, brings the shoulder over, right stirrup, release with the left leg, and those changes stay smooth and level. No resistance in the horse. You know, their face stays quiet. Nice job. Thank you. Again here, we've got to really realize if we're going to drive a car, we got to sit down in the seat. We can't be sitting on top of that car. Let's just break it down. Notice that when the weight goes into the right stirrup, it lets that left shoulder come up. When the weight goes into the left stirrup, the right shoulder can come up. Or here we put the right in the shoulder, and notice how this hip also sets up for that rider in whichever direction they're going to turn. We find one thing really important. It's your right side of the body that governs the left turns, and it's the left side of the body, you know, that governs the right turns. Let's take our time right here. Let's take a look at the hand real close. Notice how she leads the horse, front of the horn, brings him around, moves that front end around. Now, the tighter she brings that arm back, and here she's actually pulling back just a little bit too much, the more congestion she'll get in the horse's front end. She wants this horse to really cross over. But you'll notice that that hand was steady. There was feel in her fingers. Now let's watch the leg. As she turns to the right, that left leg holds the hip into position and a release with the right leg. Just that easy. It's a hold with the outside leg and a release with the inside leg. Let's put that into slow motion. And you'll notice here she'll also, as the horse crosses over in front, she'll have a little press and a little release. She just won't grab this horse with her leg. And as she uses that lower leg with a little press and release, she just helps this horse make a very balanced turn on the haunches, or a spin as we see here, in a very fluid, easy kind of a way. Well, you know, this slow motion is absolutely great. Notice that weight's to the outside stirrup, to the outside of her arc, which frees up the shoulder and makes this move really pretty and soft and steady. Excellent. That was really nice, Brenda. Thank you. You know, practice makes perfect. You just watch this video, I just can't give you a better example than how solid Brenda sit there. You know, let's watch Sherry's haunch turn here. Notice the weight go a little bit to the outside stirrup, holds with the left leg. Those of you who do the hunt seat equitation at the breed shows, a lot of times they'll ask for these. And it's really no different whether you ride English or Western. It's still the same cues. Start your horse slow. Keep the weight to the outside stirrup. Keep that hand steady and guiding, letting the horse cross over in front and make his turns. You go to speed him up with the leg and not the hand. Those perfect turns take practice. Being able to stop with this horse correctly is a real art. Notice there, her hand went high, her body got stiff, and look what the horse responded. Here you see her timing perfect. Sat down, said whoa, and her pull was just like pulling a carrot out of the ground. Very soft and easy. Notice how the weight's evenly balanced in both stirrups. Again, the seat bones are down. That was a nice job. Let's have her just go back and watch here again, cause and effect. Okay, here we see when the hand goes too high. See the stiffness it creates? Not only too high, but her hand was really too quick. Okay, let's watch that again and just watch what happens when things slow down. The seat gets down in the saddle, and we see a real balanced, smooth stop with Brenda and the horse. These videos are just great. We can replay them and go over them. See the centeredness to her body? Still uses her eyes. That keeps her soft. That keeps her relaxed. Let's watch this now in slow motion again. You see, her legs are a little stiff. She's looking down. Up comes the hand. Not only does that pull the horse's head up into the air, he opens his mouth, hollows his back, gives her real kind of just a camel-like stop. Let's keep her in slow motion right here. I'd like to have you just watch her timing. And again, she'll draw a little energy right through her seat of her pants and through her seat bones. Her legs stay quiet. Her hand is a very guiding. Notice how soft and the give and the release she's got into her hand. As she picks up the reins this time, it's just a real confident, secure pull. It's not an over pull. Horse has a chance to get his back underneath him, stop with these hocks straight. That was really pretty. Notice that her upper body didn't fall way back. Everything was in very nice harmony. I'd like to just try one more of those, Brenda. Okay, and we're going to ask for another lope. Gather. Nice transition. Drives the horse off. Gets a little impulsion. And again here, she sits with her body weight, picks up her reins, and the horse stops very straight, very smooth. He will do this over and over and over when you give him that much time and that much security when you're working with him. You know, I always say to a lot of my riders, show smarter, not harder. And boy, this is so true, because when we get into world-class riding or just enjoying your horse 100% to the fullest, I would say that it's an easy 90% mentally. You know, just your attitude before you get on him, before you go out to the barn is so important. I've seen so many riders just ruin a nice ride or ruin a nice time with their horse because of letting past experiences come into their mind. You know, when you go out to ride, think positive. Get ready for it. You know, look and get ready for that plan. I've always said if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail, and this is so evident when it becomes into your mental picture here as far as getting on your horse before you go out to just spend some time on him, you know, in preparing for your shows. Be able to go out there and even on your way out there, go through your mind on some of the things that you're going to be working on. Don't look for the little negatives. Start looking for the good things that he's going to be doing. In other words, always try to ride and prepare and train on things that he knows how to do. Don't go out there and let yourself get into a negative mode of thinking, what's going to happen if he does this or he does that? Remember, don't look at your problems. Turn those problems into challenges. You know, one of the things I think where I see show riders, I've been very fortunate in my lifetime to work with many world-class riders, and the one thing I've found is that, boy, you've just got to build confidence in them, and if they're thinking positive and if they're going through their rides in a very positive way in their mind before they even get to the show, good things will happen for them. They'll ride way over their heads. If that judge has never used you before, hey, turn that into a challenge. Just, you know, go there that day and try to ride for a 5th or 6th, you know, at least get a ribbon. If your horse has never worked good in that ring, don't let yourself say, uh-oh, he's going to blow up again. Just say, hey, today I'm going to get him around that end. Things are going to start smoothing out. Form a mental plan, you know, form that to the point to where you use enough imagery of nice rides, soft rides, that things are going to start to roll for you. And the key again is staying relaxed. You've learned how to use your eyes, your breathing. Sometimes just listening to some soft music before your classes. Getting away by yourself. Those are very important. Now here are a couple other keys. Try to, you know, simplify your thoughts. For example, what I'm trying to say here is that if you ride reiners and your horse has been really bouncing on his stops, don't let that little man on your shoulder say, uh-oh, we're going to have a wreck, he's going to run off with you, and then try to say to yourself, gosh, I've got to keep my heels down, I've got to pull slow with my hand, I've got to say whoa, and, you know, let all these things come into your mind. Just do this. Just go out there, and as you gallop down and prepare for this stop, just say to yourself maybe two things. Whoa and stop. Whoa and stop. If you're in a Western riding horse, you're getting ready for lead changes. Don't let your mind get confused or cluttered. You know, say gather, change, gather, change. Just two simple instructions going right through your mind. If you've got a cutting horse, heck, and you're out there and cutting, don't worry about him leaking out, getting out there in front of the cow and making bad moves. Don't let that little man say that, you know, you're going to get a major penalty. Keep things simple in your minds. Say things like drive, block, drive, block, drive, block. I think not only things like that, if you ride Western pleasure horses, get a rhythm to the trot, get a rhythm to the lope. Say that into your mind, just bump, 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 bump. And once you keep things simple, things are really going to start really rolling for you. One of the things I think we've got to keep in mind here too is that if you feel that tension come on and that fear really starts to come into your body, again, keep your thoughts simple, keep your thoughts in a plan. As far as keeping the mental imagery going for you, relax and go for it. Let's do a summary and let's just go over many of the things that we covered in the video, Resistance-Free Riding Part 2. These exercises, you've seen enough of them to go out there and kind of customize that particular exercise that you need to improve different parts of your body. You need to work on the upper body, the legs, your rhythm. They can all be done right here. And besides that, it's always fun to kind of work with somebody else. Take that old horse off the rails. Start doing some trot overs. Put some pulls down. Keep his mind busy. Let him start doing some things that's just going to help you even improve your rhythm with him. And it makes it a lot more fun than just going around the rail. That proper leg and hand position, you just have to get those world-class rides. It takes discipline, it takes organization in the lower leg and the hands to develop that feel. We've gone over, it doesn't go together. You've had a chance to really see this, so you can go back over and replay this video and replay it. And right now, it's up to you. Once you learn how to draw that energy from your horse right into your seat bones and stirrups, then you have that harmony and that unity with your horse that give you that total look. And don't just ride, start getting that feel. We've gone over the exercises there that do this for you. It then sets us up for lead changes so that they're smooth and easy and soft. And then we, of course, getting 100% out of our horse. Whether you ride English or Western, you got to learn how to release that leg, the weight into the opposite stirrup, and then really good things start happening for you. You've got to be able to have that position, though. Same way with the spins or the turnaround. The weight goes the outside stirrup, release a little with the inside leg, the hand guides, it's steady. Use that lower leg to block and hold. Breathe with the leg, release the inside leg. All this comes together the more you watch it. Timing, correct position. If you do it wrong, you can just see right there what happened. Replay this video and go over this section on the stops until your stops come to you, just as smooth as that one did for Brenda right there. 90% of your ride is mental. You've got the skill level to control your horse through the physical control, but right now to get that real extra edge on your competitors or to get the most out of your horse, you've got to be able to be mentally into it. Prepare your attitude, take the time and prepare yourself, because that's when Resistance-Free Riding Part 2 really starts to work for you to become a better rider.
It has been sincerely a great pleasure to share Resistance-Free Riding Part 2 with you. I just want to say thank you for taking your time again, because this afternoon we've gone over many things. We've just gone over them in our summary that I hope that you'll not only just think about, but you're going to go home and practice with. Use this video not once, but many, 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 many times. I want to just thank our riders. Justin, thank you for coming out. And Sherry, guys coming all the way down here from Washington, and Brenda, Jill, and Deanne, it's been my sincere pleasure working with you. And, you know, Jimmy Williams has always used the great thing that he has on his golf cart, who I think is a great horseman. He always says, remember, it's what you learn after you think you know it all is what really counts. So keep that in mind, and, you know, may you all ride a good horse. Till we see you next time. Thank you, guys.